Hey, hey. Hi, guys. All right, so let's jump on in. We are going to get into a little bit of mythology inspired storytelling for starters for each zodiac as we move throughout the rest of this week. But I thought we'd start out with this backdrop specifically for that. And I did want to just mention all right, so in the Tales of the Cosmos, we go back, of course, to Greek mythology. And first off, the story of how we ended up with the Milky Way is told like this. Um, Zeus and Hera, of course, were the husband and wife couple in Greek mythology. Zeus was the lead of the Olympian gods. He led the rebellion against the old gods, the Titans, that technically were their parents. And the Olympian gods, of course, were successful, and then they ended up ruling. And Zeus was the god of the sky, and then his brothers and siblings, they all have their roles at play in Greek mythology as well. Zeus and Hera, as a married couple, were perpetually cheating on each other and all kinds of other nonsense. But Hera, in particular, would become quite jealous when Zeus would go out and have his little adventures. And she would oftentimes punish not only the individual that he may have cheated with, but the offspring of that union as well. And knowing this, Zeus decided he would try to do things a little bit differently. So he, of course, goes cheating again, and he winds up having the baby Hercules. But instead of admitting that it's his baby, he goes ahead and says, "Hey, Hera, look, I found this baby." And Hera says, "Well, bring the little cutie to me. I'll take care of this baby." So she begins to nurse baby Hercules. But of course, Hercules, being a very strong, robust child, nurses a little too fiercely, causes her a little bit of pain, and she pulls the baby away from her. And a little spritz of milk goes up into the cosmos, and that becomes the Milky Way. Now, the little droplets that rained back down to Earth became lilies in the Greek mythology. In the Romans later viewed the Milky Way as like the river or pathway that they would follow to the afterlife. Cultures throughout the entire world have always seen and witnessed the Milky Way. And in fact, everybody sees it as a river, or many cultures did. So in India, they would see it as the Ganges River, a version of that in the cosmos. The Egyptians saw it as a heavenly depiction of the river Nile. It was called the River of Light. In China, they saw it as the Sky River, which was a reflection of the Yellow River on Earth. So everybody sees it as like this spiraling river. Now, the Milky Way galaxy itself is like 100,000 light years across, and all stars rotate around the center of the Milky Way, including our sun, including us. And so it's just one of those things that I thought it would be fun to start out with a little bit of storytelling about that, and then we'll get into whatever the story may be. Hi, everybody. So great to see you all. So we just started out with our first card. Now, I have no idea if any of that storytelling will fit into this, but as you guys know, I am a fictional storyteller, and humans have been telling stories for as long as humans have been around. And they used to sit down at night and look up at the night sky and see pictures in the stars. And that kind of begins some of the mythology of the zodiac. So we're going to talk about that for each zodiac throughout this entire weekend and possibly into the beginning of next week. I've been dying to get back into this. I love this backdrop so much. And I love mythology. So this will be fun. So I just want to start that out for our collective message. I am going to say, full disclosure, I actually already recorded a 19-minute long video that I actually deleted. I don't usually delete things, but it was such an unpleasant story. I'm not going to put it out. So I think that's interesting. So I just did a reset of shedding negativity. Okay. And I feel like right now, especially after this full moon, I personally believe on a big emphasis of like shedding negativity. Don't even let it in. Don't even let or foster negative things. And I think that that's maybe I'm just mentioning that as perhaps part of the motivation right now, or the energy flow right now. Let's do better. Four of Cups. Four of Cups can be an illusion. It can be a missed opportunity. We have this waterfall overflowing here, but then we have this like I want to go into that tunnel and see how it goes through the mountain. This looks kind of like we have a person who had everything possible. They could have gone through the tunnel. They could have listened. We have this cardinal, by the way, like one of our birdie guides sitting over here. But I always think of like cardinal directions. So I'm wondering if somebody in the back of their mind, they're like, oh my God, it was so clear. Like I should have gone with one of the cardinal directions, right? Northeast, west, south. I know which direction I should have gone. And there was this waterfall of abundance, and there was plenty of talk about this, but in the end, I didn't take the direction that I knew clearly that I should. Now you notice that we could say that's the sun, but I'm looking at it as the full moon, because this card's color tones look like we have more like evening coming on. So I'm going to say that's a full moon rising. So we may have a character who has recognized something since yesterday's full moon, which is, damn, I'll say it this way. Once upon a time, I was at a concert, and it was like a smaller theater, but there was a balcony, and the musicians at the front said, hey, there's room in the front here. If you guys all want to come on down and dance, you can. And then it got flooded. And then they're like, okay, sorry, no more people can come down here. And there was this one voice who yelled out, damn, I knew I should have went down there. And that has always been like one of the best, like, memories of, this huge drunken voice just speaking from the heart. And I feel like, damn, I knew I should have went down there. That's what this card reminds me of. It may not be a big deal. It might just be like, oh, we got the Nine of Swords. This person is stressed over it though. Why didn't I go down there when I could have? Why didn't I? Look, lots of stuff we imagine that I fumbled it. I could have taken that opportunity and I just didn't. This says there's always another day, though. We have the sun card. The sun will rise again. You'll get another chance. So maybe it's even a better thing that you didn't do it today. Maybe you needed to sit and feel bummed for a day or a night, only because then it gives you more impetus the next day when you're sober to go for that thing that you missed out on. This is actually really, really great because with this, actually, hang on. Page of Wands, excuse me. It's almost invisible, the writing down here. I can see of Wands, but I had to make sure that I wasn't about to, I thought it was a page, but I wanted to confirm it. It's like, there. I should have held it up in the perfect lighting. It's almost invisible in my dim lighting, but we've got this. I always love this little picture. It's kind of like a Stay Wild Moonchild. We got this little wild beastie that's like, you know what? I'm an adventurer. I could do this. And if you look closely, I'm going to say that's probably back in that tunnel, ready to explore it. So there was something that a character wanted to do, wanted to go explore, step into the unknown, see where a road leads, see where the river of life might go. And they didn't do it. And I think they were really stressed. Now, they could have been stressed for a chunk of time because I'm getting 4 months off of this, not just one night. But I think the full moon helped to bring that stress over, damn, I should have went down there, energy to the forefront. And then it's like, you can only handle so much stress before you go, all right, I got to deal with this. Because feeling the disappointment of what I didn't do, the opportunity missed, that's just too heavy. I got to go ahead and say, how can I fix this? And it's like, oh, I can still do the thing. I can still walk through that tunnel. I can still go and explore. I just had to have the impetus to go do it. So a lot of this is kind of a tempest in a teacup. This is no big deal. This is a character who could have easily already followed this path, but they didn't until now. Knight of Cups. Sure, this could be about love, an expression of love. This could be asking somebody out on a date. This could be, why didn't I tell them I was interested? When am I going to get another chance? And it's like, make the chance. Reach out to somebody. Say to somebody that you like them. Send them that text. Pop in and say hello to them. Tell them point blank, you know what? I've been kicking myself for a couple months because I meant to tell you this a couple months. Damn, you're fly. I wanted to ask you out. If you're ever available or if you're interested, I had like this romantic date I wanted to ask you out on, and then I got too shy to do it. So now I have to admit that, and I still have to ask you out. That could be just like, do that verbal diarrhea. Let the waterfall fall. Let the words fall out. These are beautiful words. This is a beautiful sentiment. If somebody wants to ask somebody out in that Knight of Cups, I mean, come on, we can see that's a date scenario, right? He's sitting on the beach. He's got the flowers. He's got like a little, I don't know if it's like a cheese plate or what going on, but it's beautiful. And he brought a book of poetry, so it doesn't get much more romantic than that. Yeah, 3 of Cups. I'll meet you at the beach for sure. 3 of Cups is This sounds amazing. I would love to. I don't even think that this storyline has any hiccups in it, not really, other than that feeling of a missed opportunity that isn't missed at all. The sun is our strongest message, right? Because it's our only major arcana. And so if we were to just simplify this whole storyline and say, what's the gist of it? It says, go for happiness. If there's any action we can take that we want to take, and the reason we want to take it is good, right? Telling somebody that you think that they're lovely is probably not anything we're ever going to regret at the end of our life. Like, oh, I wish I had told that person that I thought they were really nice and I had wanted to do something really nice for them, if, and let them know I was attracted to them and hope they were attracted to me. We're probably not going to regret that at the end of our life, because that was only positive energy. That was only us saying something lovely that was true. So the big message here is, if you know something good is in your heart and something that you want to take action on, and it's all beautiful and positive, why not just do it? I mean, who's going to do it but you, right? You're in charge of this ship. So sail it the direction you really want to go. Advocate for yourself, for your own joy, your own happiness. 8 of Cups. And if perchance somebody tells you no thanks, then at least you can walk on. And you notice how we're on like a boardwalk on now, this kind of like misty evening right by the waterfront. But you see how the boardwalk is kind of winding, much like the Milky Way galaxy thing that we've been talking about. And it's like there's a whole world full of stars. But at least try to go down the roads you really want to go down. At least try to get what you want out of life, whether it's a yes or a no. At least you'll be like, oh yeah, I did that. No, totally failed hard on that one, but glad I stopped by and tried it. And then I kept walking on. If we only think about like, well, if I ask them out, they have to say yes, otherwise I can't handle the failure. That's just not realistic, because a lot of things we're going to do. I mean, this says she's going to say yes, but it still doesn't mean they'll be good together. They could go and sit down and have a date. And by the end of the date, they're like, oh my God, we are not a match. We do not even enjoy each other's company. There are attributes about each other. We're driving each other nuts. Let's call this date short. And now all that missed opportunity and fretting and all that was for nothing. And sometimes in life we're going to laugh and we're going to find that out too, because we may still have to walk on. But at least this message says, do the thing that you got to do to find out how it's going to go. We got a 2 of Cups. This is the great quest for the I'm going to keep this all in the relationship energy, as that's how this has come across to me. It's like, don't ever lie to ourselves and settle for somebody who is not what we're truly looking for either. If the big quest is, I want somebody I feel really connected to, somebody who dazzles me like no other, there's not maybe going to be a whole ton of those relationships. I mean, there could be. Maybe we get dazzled by literally everybody, but I doubt it. I think the 2 of Cups says, I'm really looking for something very, very special. And if I think I met somebody really, really special, but I never bothered to ask them out, that could be an epic mistake. So let's just not do that. Let's just be like, I gotta know, I gotta make sure, because I was dazzled. Maybe this is my person, maybe not. But the ultimate quest is, I want that kind of partnership. Then that's worth putting ourselves out on a limb for. That's worth finding the courage to ask somebody out that we're really interested in, right? Because if we don't, we could be missing out on this. So this whole storyline is just very encouraging about, this whole river of life thing, this whole river of the cosmos. It's interesting because time's going to pass anyway. You may as well like participate, seek what you want, be clear about what you want, go after what you want. Again, we still have not hit any other major arcana but the sun. And I think that that's so beautiful because it keeps focusing on the positive. We have a 7 of crystals, so that's a 7 of pentacles. And we definitely see possibly we have a feminine who's like, look, I've been buying crystals right and left to raise my vibration. I've been investing. I already know this. That's the way I'm living too. I want the kind of, high vibrational lifestyle that I've been developing. And part of that is, first, I develop it in myself. I kind of think this is a love story that will emerge because I think 2 people have worked on themselves to such a wonderful vibe. Just me. Okay, is anybody else having problems in the chat right now, you guys? Can you see and hear me? Because just me says they cannot see nor hear me right now. Please do let me know in the chat. Everything looks good on my end, so I don't know if it's just certain locations or something are struggling. Okay, Maria, thank you so much. Okay, so just me. I'm sorry, I know you can't see or hear this, but I think it's how ironic. It's just me. Right? It is just your device right now that's struggling. So anyway, we've got a King of Wands upright. Yeah, I do think that there might be some updates on YouTube today because I struggled this morning. That's why I'm on so late. I had intended to be on at about 10. And then again at like noon. And anyway, it couldn't happen till now. So with this King of Wands energy, again with the waterfall, right? This is perfect timing. This is hearts have to open up and get brave enough to speak what is on the heart. Let me ask one question since we got like the ear of the universe right now. Universe, since the biggest struggle that is being, obviously highlighted in this is for characters to just go ahead and speak from their heart when they like somebody, when they're attracted to somebody, and the fact that they're looking for someone that they really, really, really feel drawn to. And that's where maybe because there's so much writing on this, this is not, if we don't really care whether or not somebody says yes, if we ask them out, that's, we don't have high stakes. When we're really drawn to somebody, attracted to somebody, and feeling like they're super special, it gets a lot more scary. We have a lot more on the line. But what's the best way for these characters? Because these characters have obviously been working on exactly that, developing their confidence, and they're ready to go ahead and take the step and engage with each other. But what is the best way to get beyond that I don't want to call it freak out, but that worry, that fear? What is the best way? Because these characters have developed this, but we have the Judgment card. Judgment card is about reconciling with things. It's about releasing things and bringing things back into our life after we've processed things. And we have Stonehenge here. So there is like this great mystery, but also this sense of mysticism. And I think it's kind of hinting that the universe says when characters get fearful and they almost miss out on opportunities. Now, granted, these two characters are not going to miss out, right? We've got a King of Wands ready to go ahead to be that knight and come forward and ask her out. She's super ready to receive. She wants to receive. She's less, fearful. She wants to say yes to this date. Like both of them are on par with each other. But I'm just asking, since they took a while to get there, what's the secret sauce to get these characters beyond that kind of fear? And it's not just time, even though it says for her there was an investment of time and better energy flow. She was like cleansing her energy flow, getting into high vibration. He was finding maybe some kind of confidence or just saying my desire overrides my stress over a missed opportunity. But I just wanted a more streamlined, like, what's the secret sauce to get anybody beyond those fears so they can advocate for what they really want and have the courage to go ask people out or do the thing that they need to do. And it says, well, part of it is like that mystical, mysterious journey that each one of us has to take that's ours and ours alone, of finding our confidence, figuring out where's our inhibition and coming to terms with that, making a judgment call, looking at, okay, what happened in the past that started to like make me accrue these, like, oh my God, I'm so used to being disappointed, or I'm so used to having people, not pick me, or I'm so used to having, mishaps or having inconsistent lovers or being betrayed. And, the Judgment card can be about reconciling with the past and then bringing in the person that we used to be. And I kind of feel like the universe is saying it's kind of going to be personal. Each person who's fearful of putting themselves out there for the potential of a great love, it's probably because they got scarred along the way. And that's going to be different for each character. But making peace and letting go of the thing that taught us, like, it's like touching a hot stove and go, I got burned 3 times. I don't want to touch a stove anymore. It scares me to even look at that stove. It's understandable if we kept getting burned in love, starting to accrue this idea that probably if I put myself out there, I'm only going to get hurt. Probably if I let myself fall for somebody, they're probably going to instead cheat on me. Probably, because that happened in the past. And it says when we accrue those things, we have to acknowledge them And then we have to say, okay, yes, that experience occurred, but I need to be the person that I was before that happened to me. So I need to let that go. That person who was a cheat, that's their issue, not me. That's an SEP. That's somebody else's problem. You cheated on me because you got lack issues in you, not because I wasn't enough. You wanted to hold on to me and cheat on me? Then you are so hungry for attention. That's something you need to go fix in your soul. I got none of that issue in me. I can let that go. Now I restore myself like I never got hurt by you. I mean, I think that's the way I'm going to interpret this. That's the secret sauce. And I really love that now we have, again, this image of the sun. It's also, I think, very meaningful that we have had only 2 major arcana, and both of them are so positive. I know it's easier said than done to let go of, hurts of the past or to reconcile with things of the past. But it's very, very, very possible in the way the universe is laying this out. It's like, remember, all you're here to do is fight for the best life you can possibly have. We don't freak out if we're like, oh, look at that. There's a new restaurant or whatever, ice cream parlor. And it says that they have 62 flavors and they're all funky and unique. I'm going to go in there because I'm hungry for ice cream and I want to taste this. I'm going to do this for me. We don't hesitate and go, oh, God, I don't know. Should I go in there? We just go for it because we want it. We don't hesitate in any other area of life about what we want for ourselves necessarily, other than when it comes to like love or maybe things that we're afraid we won't be good enough because something burned our hand before. We got burned by love before. That stove burned us. Those are the only things that we probably don't advocate for ourselves as much because we get scared. That's what I would interpret this. And this just says, here's the secret sauce to get beyond that fear and just go for, think of asking somebody out as like going in and buying ourselves our favorite flavor of new ice cream that we've never tried before. And we like ice cream. It shouldn't be more stressful than that. And this says we make it more stressful than that. It's easy to go advocate for the ice cream cone you want. It's easy to walk into a new restaurant and try it out. That's not scary. It's no different than asking somebody out, or shouldn't be. We should just advocate, hey, I like this. I want to see what happens with this. Oh, you're out of that flavor? Oh, you don't want to go out with me? Okay, no problem. There's probably other places. And if we could let it roll off that easy, maybe a lot of that fear would be gone and we'd be back to seeking out the positive, because that's what our life is supposed to be dedicated to, is let's advocate for our own happiness and the outcome we'd like to have. Okay, I really did like that one. I did not expect it to go that way. That wasn't really a traditional story. I want to ask one last question. Do these 2 have success together? Let's go this route. Hey, guys. We've got the integration of somatics. That is the King of Pentacles. And remember, our first character seemed to have been the masculine, right? And we saw him as a King of Wands as well, as we went through that storyline. But he started out as that Knight of Cups. We saw masculine on those 2 cards, and now we see masculine again. So I'm going to say, does this work out? Let's, again, put it in this context. For our masculine, it works out beautifully because he gets really grounded. Now, this usually is somebody who's like, man, I went after what I wanted. I opened up my heart to it. I got over my fears. I decided not to say, damn, I wish I would have went down there. I did go down there. I did go ask her out. I did go see her. And you know what? I started to build something solid with her. Let's get one card just for her as well. Jeannie Value Angel, thank you so much. We have got safe, supported love. This is really awesome because this is not a traditional major arcana. This is just in this deck. And we've got these little otter love going on. And otters, one of the things that I think is so cute about them, when they are napping in the sea, they link arms with each other so they don't get carried away by the current. And I just think that's the cutest thing ever. And we have the Ace of Cups. So we have, my question was, do they have a good outcome? What happens? Or do they make it? And this actually says, not only do they have success, and remember, she was raising her vibration. He was getting that, courage to not let something be a missed opportunity. Both of them did the work on themselves that they had to. And the outcome is sweet, sweet otter love. And we double down on that with, it's like, for her, it was also an act of self-love to, get to the point where she felt high vibrational enough that she wants somebody who can, like be a partner to her. She had to believe that she's lovable too. This is an act of self-love for both of them to get themselves into an energy where they believe that they can have a successful relationship and love and be loved. So very nice. And I love the fact that we have, this is card 22, which doesn't exist, but it does here. So very nice. All right, I'm going to leave that one there, you guys. I will be back later on, and we'll do a singles read, and we'll get into probably, I'm guessing probably 4 or 5 zodiacs tonight on this channel, and one video over on Tarot Dog. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys later on. I'm going to be gone for a bit, and then I will return. Moonlight Shadow, so good to see you. Hi, Irene. Vivan Hun, thank you, sweetheart. Right back to you. Maria, thank you again, love. Patricia Bucator, Courtney Jade, Nani, thank you. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up, you guys. Thanks so much for subscribing. I so appreciate you. Fukam Chan, thank you, honey. So great to see you. Thank you. I will give Aries a little pat for you. Jeannie Vale, thank you. You're so generous. Hi, Ange. Or Angie, Angel. That could have been a lot of things. So forgive me for botching your name, but I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Just me, you're so sweet. Hi, Kimmy. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the mythology. Yeah, it's fun. Anishta Chatu, great to see you. Hello. Rachel's Magic, good to see you, love. Robin G, awesome to see you. Earth Magic, right back at you, love. Hi, Mon. Manya Gregarious. Oh, that's so nice. You're right. Capri does have the blue grotto, right? That's awesome. There's in between Athens and Sunio, there's in Greece, there's a tunnel that looks very much like what we saw on that card as well. Annie S, I'm so glad, honey. We'll get to a Capricorn story today, by the way. I think today I'll be doing, or rather tonight, we'll get to Virgo, Libra, probably Leo, Capricorn, and then, I don't know, I was thinking we may go Taurus after that. Amani, thanks for being here. And thanks, Amani. That's such great advice. Yeah, refreshing the page. If you guys have that funkiness that occurs sometimes on the channel when you're watching a video, yeah, sometimes refreshing the page will work, or jump out and jump back in. I think that we've got some updates going on YouTube, because I noticed a few new things, showed up, like in the back side where only I can see it, like new features and things that they're, constantly updating and improving YouTube and adding new things. And I've noticed that when that happens, we get some funkiness while that's going on. So Sarah J, so wonderful to see you. Rakai Lancaster, awesome. Thank you for the feedback, you guys. Marie Middendorf, thank you again. Sleep Princess, Moonlight Shadow, thank you guys so much for giving me that feedback. I cannot thank you enough. Hey, Sassy. Fiona Shea. Chrissy, awesome to catch you. You are so sweet, Sassy. Rachel's Magic. Yes, to make the chance. I love that. Ginger Montague. Hey, babe. Tammy Secord. G. Hey, love. Lori, so glad you're here. Mancy Halls, thank you. Happy Friday. I know this week went fast, didn't it? Janine Sebastian. Brady. Rarely Strange. Lulu. Tanya Jones, happy Friday to you also, love. Stellar Luna, hi, honey. Hi, Erica. Stephanie D. Robin, Emily, Eduardo Jimenez, thank you for being here. I hope you're all settled in after your move as well. I know everybody's life has so much going on and it's so busy. So I'm particularly honored that you guys still pop in and hang out. Yes, absolutely, Erica. So every zodiac has had one video so far this week. And now for these next 3 days, as we close out the week, I'll get all the other zodiacs and you guys will each get a mythology story integrated too. So we'll get to everybody between today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and probably do a couple bonus videos on Sunday. So I will not fail you. In fact, maybe we should move Aries up to tonight since I have a special request. Erica, we'll put Aries on tonight, okay? All right, you guys. Amara, did you just move also? Oh my gosh, it's such hard work, isn't it? But congratulations. Annie S wants Aquarius. I think Annie S, because we're going to do Capricorn, and I know those are your two favorites. Which would you prefer? Because I'm thinking I'm doing Capricorn tonight. Would you rather Aquarius instead? I'm going to do one or the other. Cap, okay, you got it. I kind of figured. I know you now. Hi, Michelle. Sweet, you sweetie pie. Thank you. All right, everybody. Excuse me. I will see you again later on this evening, and we will get into the zodiacs. Lots of love. Bye for right now.